February 25, 1957, Fox Chase, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A quiet stretch of road called Susquehanna Road. Wooded on both sides, not much traffic, the kind of road people drive past without really seeing. A man was out that morning, checking his muskrat traps near a small wooded area off the road. He almost didn't look twice at the cardboard box sitting by the side of the path. But something made him stop. Inside the box was a child, a little boy. His body was wrapped in a plaid blanket. He had been placed inside carefully, almost gently, with his arms at his sides. He was nude. He was clean. Someone had washed him before putting him there. He was somewhere between 4 and 6 years old. He had blue eyes, brown hair, recently cut, so recently that the clippings were still on his skin, and he had no name. Nobody in Philadelphia, or anywhere, came forward to say they knew him. No one reported him missing. No one ever asked where he was. For 65 years, the world knew him only as America's unknown child. The boy in the box. Philadelphia police launched an investigation immediately. The medical examiner determined the boy had been dead for several days before he was found, likely since mid-February. He had died from severe blunt force trauma to the head. He had been beaten, but what disturbed investigators as much as the cause of death were the other marks on his body, old scars, healed injuries, signs of previous trauma. This child had not been hurt just once. He had been hurt many times. Over a long period, this was not a sudden act of violence. This was a life of it. The medical examiner also noted something unusual. The boy was malnourished, thin for his age. But his hair had been very recently cut. His nails had been trimmed. Someone had groomed him after he died, or just before. Someone had taken care with his appearance before putting him in that box. That detail, that strange, contradictory detail, would haunt this case for decades. Whoever put this boy in the box was not completely without feeling. Which means they knew him, which means they had chosen to hide him anyway. Police distributed the forensic sketch widely. The image ran in every major newspaper in the region. It was printed on thousands of flyers. Gas stations handed it out. Post offices put it up. Police even placed the image inside packages of J.C. Penney products sold in the area, hoping someone, somewhere, would recognize the face. More than 400 tips came in. Every single one was investigated. Every single one led nowhere. The cardboard box itself was traced. It had been used to package a baby's bassinet, sold by a J.C. Penney store in the area. But thousands of those boxes existed. No one purchase could be traced. The plaid blanket, the box, the haircut, the cleaned body. Every clue they had pointed to someone who had lived nearby, who had access to ordinary things, and who had gone to extraordinary lengths to make sure this boy was never identified. The investigation hit a wall and stayed for years. A name no one knew. The years passed. The case went cold, but it never truly died, because of one group of people who refused to let it. In 1998, a non-profit organization called the Vidocq Society, a group of retired law enforcement professionals and forensic experts who take on cold cases, adopted the boy in the box. They exhumed the boy's remains. They collected DNA samples. They created a new, more detailed facial reconstruction using modern technology. And they gave him a proper grave with a headstone that read, America's unknown child, because until someone could give him his real name, that was the only name they had. Over the decades, more than 400 suspects were looked at. Hundreds of missing children's files were cross-referenced. Forensic artists updated the sketch again and again. DNA was analyzed. Age progression images were created, and still nothing. In 2019, investigators used forensic genealogy, the same technique that caught the Golden State Killer, to build a family tree from the boy's DNA. They identified a potential family. They followed the lead carefully, quietly, for 3 years. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, December 8th, 2022, 65 years after a man found a cardboard box on the side of a road in Fox Chase. Philadelphia police held a press conference. They announced that America's unknown child had a name, Joseph Augustus Zarelli. Born January 13th, 1953. Died sometime in February 1957. He was 4 years old. For 65 years, this boy had no name, no birthday anyone acknowledged, no grave marker with his own identity on it. He had been buried twice, once in the ground and once under decades of silence. And now finally, he had a name, Joseph. But police were careful about what they said next. They had a name. They did not yet have answers. They would not release the names of his family members. They would not explain how he came to be in that box or who put him there. The investigation, they said, was still active. The case was not solved, just given a face and finally a name. What we know, what we don't. Here's what investigators believe. Joseph Augustus Zarelli was born in Philadelphia in January 1953. He lived somewhere in or near the city. He was known to someone, a family, a household, for his entire short life. And in February 1957, someone in that household killed him. The injuries on his body told a story no child should ever have to tell. He had been abused, repeatedly, over a long period of time. The scars on his body were not fresh. They had healed and re-healed, which means the violence had been happening for months, possibly years. A 4-year-old boy. And then there was the final detail. The one that makes this case impossible to fully understand. After he died, someone bathed him, cut his hair, trimmed his nails, wrapped him in a blanket, placed him in a box, and drove him to a quiet road in Fox Chase and left him there, in the cold, in February. Not thrown away in anger, not hidden in a hurry, placed deliberately with some care. What does that tell us about the person who did this? Investigators have debated it for decades. Some believe it shows guilt, that whoever killed Joseph felt some remorse, and the careful placement was a kind of apology they could never speak out loud. Others believe it shows something colder, that this was someone organized, controlled, and calculating. Someone who had done something terrible and was now managing the evidence methodically. Either way, it points to someone who knew this boy well, someone who had been part of his short life from the beginning. The woman from America's Most Wanted, the lead that almost was. In 2002, a woman contacted the Vidocq Society with a story that shook the case open again. She claimed she had grown up in a foster home in the area. She said the woman who ran the foster home had bought a boy, yes, bought, from his biological parents. She said that boy had been abused repeatedly, and she said that one day, the boy was simply gone. The Vidocq Society took her statement seriously. They investigated the foster home, the woman who ran it, the records from that era. For a period, this was the most promising lead in the entire history of the case. But when DNA results came back in 2019, the forensic genealogy analysis did not connect Joseph to that foster family. The woman's story, either inaccurate or perhaps about a different child entirely, did not match the evidence. The lead closed. But it raised a question that lingered. If Joseph was bought, or traded, or taken from his biological family, how many people knew he existed at all? How many people could have come forward and didn't? One of the most devastating facts of this entire case is simple. Nobody looked for him. In 1957, no missing child report matched his description. No parent came forward. No neighbor knocked on a police station door and said, "I knew a boy who looked like that." Whoever kept Joseph Zarelli kept him completely hidden from the world. A name, but not an answer. As of today, Joseph Augustus Zarelli has his name on his gravestone. People still visit, leave flowers, leave toys, strangers who never knew him but cannot forget him. The Philadelphia Police Department has confirmed the investigation remains open and active. No arrests have been made. No charges have been filed. The identities of his family members, located through the forensic genealogy work, have not been publicly released. Police have said they are still building the case. That means somewhere, right now, there may be a person or people who know exactly what happened to Joseph Zarelli, who know whose hands hurt him, who know who put him in that box. They may be elderly now. They may have spent their entire lives hoping this case stayed cold. Joseph Augustus Zarelli was 4 years old. He had blue eyes and brown hair. He was somebody's child. And for 65 years, the world called him America's unknown child. Because the people who should have loved him most made sure nobody could find him. He has a name now. He deserves the rest of it. He deserves justice. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born January 13th, 1953, finally remembered, still waiting.